Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to go over secure deployments of the Claude Agents SDK. So I'm just going to pull up Google Chrome right now and I'm going to go to Claude SDK and we're going to go over this section of the documentation. I'm going to go down to guides and we're going to go to securely deploying AI agents. And I highly recommend that you read this. I'll post this in the YouTube description. But this basically breaks down what it means to securely deploy an agent so it's working and the guardrails are in place so that it's not going to do things, run commands like delete files or edit files unnecessarily. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up Cursor and we're actually going to run a demonstration of how this works. So I'm going to open up a new project and I'm going to call it Agent Deployment. You can call it whatever works. I recommend that you follow through because I truly believe that's the best way that we learn. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it and it helps this channel grow. So now we're going into Claude here and I'm just going to paste this whole page and I'm going to paste it in here and I'm going to call it secure deployment. Docs, and then I'm going to paste the docs in here, and then I'm going to drag the docs into the chat here, and I'm just going to ask Claude to please create me a simple HTML presentation explaining secure deployment with the Claude Agents SDK. And so what it's going to do is it's going to create us a presentation of this. Okay, great. So while that is loading, I'm going to add a new prompt and I'm going to say, I would like to create a demonstration of securely deploying AI agents. So let's have a simple chat where you have a toggle between a safe environment and an insecure environment. And on the left of the chat, the left side of the window, we can show the code that's being executed. And on the right side of the chat, we can show some description on what's being blocked, what isn't in the non-secure versus the secure deployment. We can use a really simple example like deleting a file, how in a non-secure sandbox, the file can be deleted, but in the secure sandbox, it can't. So I just pasted that new prompt in there and let's see what the presentation is showing here. So I just opened up Securely Deploying AI Agents, a guide to secure Claude Code and Agent SDK deployments with isolation, credential management, and network controls. So why secure deployment matters. Claude Code and the Agent SDK are powerful tools that can execute code, access files, and interact with external services on your behalf. Agents generate actions dynamically based on context and goals. Behavior can be influenced by content, then process, prompt injection. Same security principles as running a semi-trusted code apply. Choose security level based on your deployment context. What are we protecting against? So agents can take unintended actions due to prompt injection. So instructions embedded in the content, the agent process, files, web pages, user input, and model error. So unexpected behavior from the model's interpretation of tasks. And so having defense in depth is still a really good practice. For example, network controls can block data exfiltration even if the agent is compromised. So there's also built-in security features. So permission systems allow block or prompt for every tool and bash command. Static analysis identifies risky operations before execution. Web search summarization, so reduces prompt injection from web content. In sandbox mode, restricts file systems and network access. So here are some core security principles. So having security boundaries, separate components with different trust levels, place sensitive resources outside the agent boundary. Least privilege restricts agents to only the capabilities required for their specific task. Defense in depth, layer multiple controls, containers, isolation, network restrictions, and file system controls. And credential protection injects credentials via proxy rather than exposing directly to agents. So here are some isolation technologies. So you can see the technology on the left, the isolation strength, performance, and complexity. And this is actually shown in the documentation. I'm just going to ask here, do you need an API key to run this? I'm just going to ask that out as it works. Oh, and that's the end of the presentation. Perfect. So left panel, we have the code execution, shows the current sandbox configuration, disables file access mode, shows network restrictions, virtual file system showing files that cannot be deleted, center panel, agent chat, and then the right side security monitor. Perfect. So no, this demo is entirely self-contained. It's a simulation that runs locally in your browser with no external API calls. The agent response is simulated JavaScript pattern matching. I'll just say, oh, I actually want to make API calls to the Claude agents SDK so that we actually show what the restrictions can do. But while it's working, I'm going to open up and see what it built for us. Perfect. So we have our agent chat here. And I think the way it's set was, this is not a real call to the AI model where we actually want an AI call. But what you can see here is you can have the code execution, sandbox mode disabled, file access full. So you can imagine this has full access to your files. And you can see these are our files. So like our config, our user data, our secrets, and our README. And then on the right, you have security model. So insecure, sandbox isolation. But if you go secure, you can see everything is checked on, and this is what we want. So once we actually have our API key set up, we can actually test out a real example of what it's like where there is no sandbox and you can just test out the API versus if there's a sandbox, and then it will restrict things like, as you can see here, read-only file system, can't delete files, no credential injection, and no common allow list. So here we are. So it's actually building the servers. Let's see, package.json. We can actually just read here what's being installed. And so you can see here, description, demo showing insecure versus secure agents model. Main server is server.js. The scripts to start it is node server.js. If you want to start the dev mode, it's node -- watch server. And then dependencies, you have the Anthropic AI SDK, you have Express, and you have cores. Now let's see the actual server that it built. So you can see here, this is the virtual file system for the demos. Ensure the demo exists with file samples. Initialize the demo files here. So you can see the tools. So the name is list file. This is one tool, list all files in the working directory. This is another one called read file. Read the contents of the file. You can see the type is an object, properties, file name, type, string, description, the name of the file, read it. And then delete file, delete all files from the file system. You can see the description is the name of the file to delete. And then here's another tool, send to external server. So send data to an external server, the URL to send. So you have the URL and then you have the data, send the data via the URL. And then you have security rules for secure mode. So you can have blocked files. These are the files that can't be accessed. You have allowed domains, read-only mode. So these are some of the restrictions that the sandbox adds. Here's another one, check if a file name matches block patterns. So you can actually have a function that checks if the file is blocked and it returns the security rules. So if the pattern is one of the files, it will return the regex test file name. And here's another one, execute the tool calls based on a security mode. So the function is execute tool. You have the tool name, tool input, and then you have switch tool name. So the case is list files, and you have the type is info, the title is file listing, the description is list files in the working directory. So this is to execute tools based on the security mode. You have here read file, so constant file name equals tool input, const file name equals path join, is secure and is file blocked. You have the type blocked, The title is read blocked. The description is access to the file name denied. File matches security policy, and then you can see the result is access denied. So if we just come down here, you can see another operation, blocked files. So these are all of your rules near the bottom. Then this is the insecure mode, or if the domain is allowed. Basically everything is allowed. And then you can have, this is the main chat. So you have your API message body. This is the system prompt. You're an AI system with access to file systems and networks. Network tools, you can list files. Okay, so let's see what's done. Here's what I created. Backend to run, install, then open, and then I'll go, okay, great. We can go ahead and run it. Do you need my API key at all to run this? So we'll continue reading this prompt here. And send data to external servers. When the user asks you to perform an action, use the appropriate tool. Be helpful and execute the request operations. Is secure. Notice you're running a secure sandbox environment with restrictions. No, since you have Anthropic API already set in your environment, the Anthropic SDK will pick it up automatically. Perfect. So it's secure. Notice you're running in a secure sandbox. So we're just going to start the app here. Let's see what it's running on. Oh, I think there's already a port being ran on, so we're just going to wait here. Yeah, port 3000 in use. Let me kill the existing process and restart. So I'm just going to go yes. And let's see what it comes up with. So we'll just keep going here. Notice you are running in an unrestricted environment with full access to read, write, delete any files. Access all files, including secrets and credentials, connect to an external server. So you have your request demo file, app post, API reset. If fs.existing sync is demo directory, fs remove demo directory recursive is true. Initialize demo files. Okay, so go ahead and open localhost 3000 and let's give it a go. So try quick actions. Try the quick actions button to see the difference between models. Start in insecure mode, click delete secrets and wait for the file to be deleted. So we have a connection error. Make sure the server is running. I think we just have to run npm start to make sure it's running, and then we will try this out. Check the server logs to see if it's running. It's just running here. We'll just go yes. Presentation and then the secure deployment. So it says here, the API key isn't set in the cell. You'll need to export it. I'm actually going to ask to create an env file, and I'll just go to console.anthropic. Now get an API key, and I will call it new. And now it's restarting the server and it's going to run for us. Perfect. So we're going to try delete and let's see if it deletes. Yeah, okay, so file deleted. That is not a very good thing if the file is deleted. However, what we can do is, you can see the demo files. It actually deleted the .env secret, which is a problem. So I deleted the secrets. What is the next step in this demo? You just saw what happens. Next, click reset. So we'll refresh here. I'll just put the refresh button doesn't work. I'll take a screenshot here. Oh, reset demo files. No, it worked. Okay, toggle to secure mode and click the same. So now we're going to go to secure mode where we're now in the sandbox environment. So we switch to a secure deployment mode. And now I'm going to try to delete the .env secrets. and let's see if it gets deleted or if it gets blocked. So I'm unable to delete the secrets because the environment has security restrictions in place. The file system is mounted as read-only, which prevents any file deletion. So that's an example of a safe deployment in the sandbox. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful to show kind of how sandbox works, how secure deployment works. There's so many more options, but this is a very simple demo just to get started. So thank you so much for listening and have a great day.